conclusion that what has happened is that he is some great dignitary. He's either somebody really important in political systems or in the Roman government. And what we find as we see him open up to Theophilus in the first verse, he's telling him about everything that Jesus began to do and teach. He began to tell him from a Christian perspective of what's going on, because see, everybody had their own idea of what church was about. Everybody had their own idea of what Jesus Christ was. But what he says, I don't want you to form an opinion. Let me tell you from my perspective what's really going on. And it's extremely important that we as a people of God, that we note that Jesus was not just a teacher, but he was a doer. And this is what he was trying to explain to Theophilus. He says, Jesus is not just a teacher, but he is a doer. And it is clearly that one of the things that separate us from other worldly religions is that other principles of worldly religions only talk about what they think. Come on, somebody. They only talk about the philosophical viewpoint of that leader and that principal figure, the philosophy of Buddha or the philosophy of Muhammad. They don't get into detail with the principle about what they did in the life, but they pretty much stick to what they thought. But we see here, as he's telling him of what Jesus began to teach and to do, that our God is a God of action. And he's not a God of philosophical opinion, which is where we get stuck when we try to defend our God. But I heard a songwriter said, I can't defend him. All I can tell you is that he's indescribable, uncontainable, unattainable, all power, unattainable, amazing God. Come on, give him a hand clap. He's just, tell somebody he's amazing, amazing, amazing. You can't do nothing with him. He's amazing. Oh, he's amazing. He's an amazing God. And so you never can disconnect what Jesus said and what he did. There's always a connection between the two. It's always a connection. That is why we are commanded not to just be hearers of the word, but to be doers of the word as well. And our faith is about action, not about talking. Tell somebody, stop talking so much and do something. Stop talking about what you're going to do and really do it. We heard last year what you was going to do. I want to see you do it. Come on, do it. Tell them just do it. Jesus said, just do it. So Luke wants them to see from his perspective. And so I thank Pastor White for that insight into who Theophilus was. Because now I can understand Luke, what he was trying to do. And he says for 40 days after, he wants us to know that after Jesus' crucifixion, that Jesus appears to the apostles and others from time to time, talking to them about the kingdom of God. And so Luke tells us that it's evident that Jesus was alive because of the many infallible proofs. In other words, you cannot disclaim it. It was so that miracles were happening. Eyes were being opened. Ears were being unstopped. The lame were walking in. You could not dispute it. It was infallible. And he doesn't want him to get into the intellectual aspect of who Jesus is. And so we got to get to the place where our personal experience cannot be explained through scientific methods. As a matter of fact, it was John who says that it was him. Though I saw him, he said, I didn't just see him. He said, but I handled him. He said, I touched him. There was something about him that even if somebody told me he wasn't alive, you couldn't tell me because I've already experienced it. You know, I might not necessarily be able to tell you, but I had never seen him walk the earth in all of my 55 years, but I know he's in my life because I feel him all over me. I heard the old saints say, I feel him in my hands, I feel him in my feet, I feel him where? Come on, clap your hands and give him praise. There's a change. A change came about me that I can't explain. A change that came about me that if people that knew me from my past knew that something was different about me. And I don't know if there's any one of you out there that your life has been so drastically changed by the power of Christ that when people you knew from your past run into you, they look at you and say, surely there must be a God somewhere. Hey, tell somebody for sure, for sure.